Hola compañeros, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is my first video back on YouTube apart from my sort of announcement explanation video, and I thought today the best idea would be to film a very quick fire Q&A so that you can understand a bit about my life now, what I've been doing, and also I guess what my plans are in terms of my future life. I am here in the sunny south of Spain. Sorry, it's going to be very noisy in this video, I think, because we live on a corner block at our beach house here, so there might be some noise, but I'm sure it will be fine. If there's noise, I'll try and edit it out in post-production and hope for the best. But yeah, basically I will give a quick introduction to myself first so you know who I am. If you've never seen my videos before, you've never seen my channel, my name is Bryn. I used to make videos about my life at the Australian National University, studying my degree in international relations. But then I moved to London, opened a business, moved to Spain, closed a business, and now I'm here living in Spain still. I've just handed in my thesis for my master in Spanish. I'm studying a Master of Political Communication and Marketing, and I'm going to defend that thesis in October. And that's pretty much it. That's what I'm up to at the moment. I've decided to create a Instagram, which you will find here, as well as my personal Instagram, to share some videos about my life in Seville over the next 6 months. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. We have a number of different topics for today's Q&A. So we have 5 general topics. I have them all written on my laptop here, which is why I'm sort of looking down, if you're wondering. And we're going to start with the first one, which is a bit about my expat life and what life in Seville is like for me. I'm going to try and answer everything as quickly as possible because I have a tendency to ramble and I don't want to make a video that's like 3 hours long just talking about myself because that's a bit conceited. But I'm going to put down below the timestamps for each section so you can have a look at each section and see which is relevant to you. We'll start with number 1, so expat life and life in Seville. First question is, why did you move to Seville? And I've spoken about this previously in another Q&A. I moved to Seville because my partner is from a town in the south of Spain, and Seville is the next closest big city, and we decided to move back to be close to his family. And also we'd lived overseas, we'd lived in Australia, lived in London, and it was just time to come back for him to be able to be close to his family. So that was why we moved, and I moved in 2023. So I've just been here now in June, 2 years. Second question, what do you love most about living in Spain? This one's an interesting question. Maybe I like that things can be very relaxed. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. I know that's a bit cliche, but I don't know, I like that it's relaxed. I like that I have a sense of community with my neighbours. I think that's very nice, and that's something maybe that you don't get in other countries, like in the UK, for example. Number 3, what's the hardest thing about being a foreigner in Seville? I think it's different for everyone. It depends which country you're immigrating from. But I think that maybe making friends is a really difficult thing to do, not just as a foreigner, but as a person moving to Seville or to Spain, because sometimes Spanish friendship groups are already very set by the time you're in like high school or university. So if you've moved back after that, it can be quite difficult to enter into those groups. Question number 4, how long did it take to feel settled here in Seville? I think that I didn't feel settled probably for the first 6 months to a year. I reckon that's how long it took me to start feeling more relaxed. I reckon after a year, I was feeling better. I could speak Spanish pretty fluently. I had a B2 level at that point, and I'd managed to learn all of that in the year. And I think that was probably the thing that made me feel more settled. was being able to communicate with people fluently. Do I feel integrated in Spanish culture? Yes and no. I think that I do a lot of things that maybe a lot of expats don't do. I visit a lot of traditional events, for example. A big part of my life is being involved in the equestrian community, which is a very traditional community here in the south of Spain. So in those senses, yes, I do feel quite integrated, and maybe I don't want to say more integrated than other people, but I feel like okay, let me see if I can focus. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I think I changed my position a little bit, but my mother-in-law arrived, which was why I stopped filming. But I was talking about, do I feel integrated into Spanish culture? And I think, yes, overall I do feel integrated into Spanish culture because, like I said, I go to a lot of very traditional events, maybe environments that are very closed in a way, but people have always been very friendly to me. And yeah, I think overall I feel quite integrated into Spanish culture. Oh dear, there's a wasp. That wasp comes toward me. I'm running. Okay, it's left. What's something you still find confusing about Spain? I think there are lots of things I still find confusing about Spain. No matter how integrated you are or how much you might understand a different culture, if you've grown up somewhere else, there are always going to be things you find confusing. I think that's the end of the story there. What's your favourite hidden spot in Seville? Oh, that's a good question. I like... let me think. I'm trying to think of something you've never heard of. I think my favourite coffee spot in Seville, for example, is called East Crema. It's not really secret or hidden, but I really like it. And then I also like, so the place I like aren't really secret, like La Malabranche, I really like. That's probably about it. What's a typical day for you like in Seville? Okay, so my day starts between 8:30 and 10, depending on what I'm doing in the day. I'll wake up, I'll have my coffee. Right now I'm on a diet, so I make my coffee at home. But when I am not on a diet, on a regular day, I'll go downstairs, have a coffee downstairs at the bar that's below our house, and have a toast. Like I like to have una tostada with tomato, goat's cheese, avocado, and caramelized onion, which is just delicious. And then I will go to work usually, either in the morning or the afternoon. We have different shifts. And when I'm not at work, I'm usually studying. And sorry for this ad. And if I'm not studying, I used to do a lot of horse riding or taking photos. But at the moment, I have decided to do more reading and making these videos. And then usually we eat dinner quite late, around 9, and then we go to bed at like 10. What's something I wish I knew before moving? I think I wish I knew how slow the bureaucracy is. I think that's the thing that I wish I knew the most. And question number 10, and then I'm going to finish this block of questions and come back a little bit later. Do you see yourself staying long term? I think yes and no. I think I see our future as being between both Spain and Australia. So yes, we'll be staying for the future, but I also think we'll be having turns between each. Because also if I decided to have a family in the future, I would like to have children that grow up in both their cultures. So I think yes and no.